I'm on a PFCO course with you in the next few weeks, and how will you support me when the new rules come into effect? So we are currently working through our changes within the internal training team within Copters to transition to what they are calling the RAEs, the Recognised Assessment Entities. Once we've went through that process, we'll be able to deliver the full suite of courses, so the likes of the CFC and the GVC. For those of you that are quite interested in the likes of the A2 CFC, because it gives you a bit more flexibility on how close you can fly to things, we will be offering a A2 CFC certificate free of charge to anyone that has sat or booked onto a PFCO course with us from the 1st of September 2019 up until the transition date comes into effect. As soon as we get our RAE certificate, we'll also be offering conversion courses for those that have not quite finished the process or would like to change their PFCO for the likes of a GVC. Another question we've got is, how long does it take to get a PFCO course? And our courses are currently a 3-day course in that we have 2 days of theory, which is finished with a multiple choice examination. You've got to achieve 75% pass mark on that. Once you've done that, if your operations manual is completed, you can then sit your flight assessment. So that is on day 3 normally, but can be rescheduled to come back at a later date. Say the weather wasn't very good, or you didn't feel quite ready to commit to that flight assessment. So 3 days for that. You're probably looking at between 10 and 15 hours of work outside of the training course. So we've got a lot of pre-course reading to go through, which will help you achieve a successful outcome on the theory test. It also has a lot of guidance on the likes of writing your operations manual. We can't get you in for the flight assessment unless your operations manual is in place. Another question is, will I have to reapply after 2 years? So currently the PFCO format is annual renewal, and this will continue to some extent if you have your PFCO and you want to keep that valid once the new legislation comes into effect. It will change slightly, but as soon as the details are released on that, we will offer more guidance. What is the pass rate on our courses? So this will vary depending on how much time you spend before the likes of your theory course and before your flight assessment, putting things into practice. But we've got a great suite of resources that you can make use of. So we've got pre-course reading, you'll have expert tuition throughout the course, which will help make sure that you have a successful outcome. You have to achieve a minimum of 75% within the theory exam. If you don't achieve that, we would have to reschedule a theory assessment. For the likes of the flight assessment, we do have some guidance in place to help you make sure you can practice all of the maneuvers that we might assess you on, some guidance for the likes of the emergency procedures and how you might deal with those. But again, you need to put that practice in. But if you need any support, we are on hand for that. Next question I have is, can I still use my PFCO after the legislation changes? And one thing I want to make totally clear is that PFCO, so if you sit a course with us now and you get it granted at the end of the month, it is valid from the date of issue until the day that it expires. So you won't suddenly become an illegal operator from the 1st of July 2020 when the new legislation comes into effect. And you can continue to renew that and make the benefits of the PFCO. It's going to change names slightly and the format might change down the line, but for the most part, that PFCO will still be valid for the entirety of its lifespan after the legislation changes. Next question is, do I need any additional training after the 1st of July? If I have a PFCO? And the only additional training that you might need is if you want to make the most of some of the different options moving forward. So if you want to make the most of the the dispensations for the likes of the A2 CFC, you would need to do the requirements for that. If you want to make use of the BVLOS or the EVLOS kind of module under the GVC, you would need to sit those elements.